See, I like curly hair, and I like that I have curly hair, but when it starts going like this, like a fucking airplane, that's when you know you need a haircut real bad. Hello YouTube, Sp4zie coming right at you. Today I'm gonna share with you a little bit of my gaming history. So to start it all off, a couple of weeks ago I was browsing YouTube for quality content like you do.
How do we dice an onion? Big onion, look at that. Woo! To the good onion. Good onion is a heavy onion. This is a 6-pound onion. The onion, dice an onion, cut the onion in half on the onion and onion.
So I was watching this guy, I think he was called the Food Ranger. He goes around in China and he goes to like the small back streets of like the alleys and eats the street food, which is just so fascinating to me. Really cool, you should totally check him out. Anyways, as I was watching him like digging through this bone-filled stew of some sort, I was thinking about one of my first favorite games, Tibia. How did I make that connection? Well, the game is called Tibia. Tibia is Latin for one of the bones you find in your legs. Me and my friend used to joke back in the day that the reason it was called that was because the game looked like this. See the characters that are like leaning over to the side? Because they had broken tibias. Genius already back then. This was probably the game that made my mother think I would flunk school when they thought that computer games would ruin my life. But look at me now, bitch! I'm making money off YouTube! Love you, mom. So I started going on YouTube, browsing all the vids I could find about it, watched a couple of streams as well. There aren't that many people playing this game right now, so it was kind of hard to find good content. But I finally did find some, and I sent out a tweet saying like I can't stop watching old footage of this game. And immediately a bunch of you guys told me that Pewdiepie just recently uploaded a video about it. He played the game as well, it turns out. I shouldn't be completely surprised, because like Swedes were the same age and we played Tibia. It was the MMO to go to here in Sweden for some reason. And so I watched his video about him going through like everything that he did in that game, and I realized that it was so crazy how like similarly we did criminal stuff in this game. Although I think I can say that I was the superior criminal. He's calling out Pewds! He's calling out Pewds! Check out the booty. Tibia was a hardcore game, an old school MMO without a leveling cap. Leveling went really slowly later on as well. You could also kill anyone anywhere with the exception of a few safe houses, and when you died, you lost your backpack containing all your loot, and sometimes you even dropped your armor and weapon. Oh, and also you could lose like up to a month worth of experience gained. This game was really brutal. And in this video, Felix talks about how he scammed people using the, well, we call it the king trick, which is there's an NPC called the king in Tibia. If you say fuck in front of him, he immediately brings you down to 1 HP. So what you could do is you could pretend to want to buy a real item from a player, and because you had to be physically next to each other in the game to do a trade, you could lure them to the king, make them say fuck, and then just boop, kill them and take their loot, right? I did that a couple of times. I'm sure plenty of people did. The problem in the long run though was that you had to be out of a safe zone to do this, and after you did it for a while, people were after you basically. I had to find a way to scam in the safe zone, and thusly, I perfected the parcel trade. It's kind of like the same principle. You want someone's item, but you don't want to pay for it. That's a normal ambition to have. It's really not, kids. Don't do that. Parcel trading in Tibia back in the day was when you were in different cities, you wanted to trade an item for gold with another player. None of you wanted to fast travel because it cost money, and none of you wanted to walk to the other person because that could take forever. So you agreed to use the Tibia's very sophisticated mailing system. Like with anything in this game, it's not sophisticated at all. In Tibia, you can buy parcels, you can put items in those parcels, and then you can drag and drop them on top of a mailbox in game, and if you wrote the name and a city of a certain person, they will instantly get that parcel to their little box in the bank. So in order to pull this off, what I had to do was make people believe that I would send them money. We're talking psychological stuff here. I talked to them in chat and I made them believe that I was a trustworthy guy over and over again. I mean, I was good at this. And if I didn't succeed of then sending the parcel my way, I went with what I called the half solution. Look, man, you seem like a good kid. I know we want this trade. We both want this trade to happen. I'm a good guy and I'm gonna send you half of the money it's worth. You send the item and then I'll send the rest of the money. Have we got ourselves a deal? Okay. They probably didn't talk like that. But again, comedian genius from way back. We know this. And of course, I wouldn't send them the rest of the money. I would take the sword and I would sell it for full price in my city, thus making half the profit of what I could potentially have done. But openly scamming people like this couldn't be done forever. Eventually, you ended up thieving from the wrong person who had a high-level friend that could kill you. So I had my main account, and on that account, I had two characters. I think a level 80 knight and a level 80 paladin was what I was rocking. At that time, that was like mid to high level. I got pretty well known on the server. Why? Partially because I was a really nice guy. I lended out cash and gear to people. I helped people out. I got a bunch of friends. I was a part of the tutor system. Tutor? Is that how you pronounce it? How to pronounce tutor. That sounds naughty. I don't know if this system is still in Tibia, but basically it was that you were allowed certain privileges in the chat because you were supposed to help new players learn how to play the game. You know, if someone had a question about their account, how it works, or if someone needed to know what a certain item did, they could ask it in the tutor chat, and people like me, approved by the company that made this game, would answer it for them. And on top of that, I owned a shop in one of the cities that I turned into a food shop, not for profit, for fun. Now, food in Tibia is everywhere. You don't need to buy it from players. Yet there are tons of different foods that you can eat. So I collected food and I sold it, and it was kind of like a role-playing thing. People came in and they were like, well, I would like to look at your apples. Ooh, this apple be fine today, sir. It will help you in your adventure. This is who I was, yes. Now, houses that also are shops in Tibia, in the main cities, are very expensive. Houses in Tibia are sold on auctions, and I was able to outbid everybody. Even though I was only around level 70, I seemed to have an infinite amount of dough. It's about to get dark again. On my second account, I had a thief. And we're not talking thief as in, oh, profession, I stab you with dagger. No, we're talking a real thief here. I stole from people, okay? So I leveled this character up enough to get out of the rookie area, and then I went to one of the cities in Tibia called Khazur-dûm. Khazur-dûm? Something ripped from Lord of the Rings. This was a dwarven city underground, obviously. And in the bank of Khazur-dûm, I resided, and I made my millions. I will now tell you how. After this little dance break. I think I'm trying to stall this. I'm scared you guys will think I'm a terrible guy. I was a terrible guy. Look, here it comes. In Tibia, a character can only carry a certain amount of goods. As you leveled up, you were able to carry more stuff. But if a container with a lot of stuff in it was too heavy for you to carry, you could still pop it out on the ground and then drag and drop it at will across the floor. You're not strong enough to carry anything, but you can fucking toss it right across the room. I miss those busted logics. Not so many people lived in Khazur-dûm, but it was a great spot for high-level hunting, so people visited the city and went for long, crazy hunts, and when they were done, they would have to send all their riches they looted to their home city using the highly functional Tibia mail system, TM. It's so functional, it works!
Jolly good, mate. Jolly good.
Now, in any other depot in Tibia, if you wanted to send a parcel that was too heavy for you to carry, you could just drag it directly from your safety box to the mailbox. But not in Khazur-dûm. Oh no, in Khazur-dûm, you can't reach it without first putting it out on the floor. Both mailboxes were on the other side of walls. You'd have to first throw it out here, and then you could throw it to the mailbox, right? Because of this, high-level people, experienced people, would never send mail if they didn't know they were alone in the depot at that point. But being a master thief, I had my workarounds. Because of the lighting system in Tibia, I could put out all the torches on the walls, so the bank sort of got into this gloomy, dark room. That, in combination with my character wearing all black, made me pretty hard to spot. I became a master at reading what people were going to do. Patterns of moving to the shop and back allowed me to recognize when someone was about to send a fat parcel of loot. But since I needed to be far away for them not to see me, how could I get to the loot on time before they threw it in the mail? Well, for that, I had another trick. See, in Tibia, everything is layered in squares. And with items, if one item was on one square and you put another item on top of it, you'd have to first move that item and then move the second item. This game was so stupid. The stage was set, preparations were done. When the unlucky player was about to send mail, I'd be standing in the dark corner like this. Let the games begin. You had a split second to react. The moment that parcel hit the floor, your mouse went like crazy. We're talking flipping MLG stuff from your inventory to the parcel, throwing out worms, coins, everything you can find. And as you do, you're slowly approaching the parcel from the darkness. The player can see you, they're panicking. They know what's going on. And once you reach the package, it was all about skill. It's almost like a game of chicken because you're both dragging trash off of this parcel, and whoever gets the opportunity to drag the actual parcel when it appears off will get the fat loot. Obviously, I had a system. See, I knew which order my trash was sorted. So when I saw that a worm followed by a coin followed by a flower was coming up, I knew that the next one was gonna be the parcel. And so I stole it. Now, this technique was so difficult, which is why I don't think that many people did it. But the rewards, oh, they were insane. I was high on this shit, man. It was crazy. The best gigs you can have as a thief is when a high-level player wants to move from one city to another. And I mean their housing, because then they empty all their trophies and their stuff and they put it in the bank. And then they usually send all of that in one parcel. You're basically sitting there like, this is the one job, and then I'll retire. I'll go clean. But of course I never did. The result of all this? I pretty much made a bunch of people quit that game. Because once you lose everything that you worked so hard for, you just don't want to play anymore. These are people who might have spent over 2 years on one character. I just stole everything they owned and then I sent it to my main character. The nice guy, the tutor, the flippin' shop owner. She's such a dick. In another video, I think Pewds talk about how he actually hacked another player using a keylog on their computer, getting his stuff that way. And see, I would never do that. But in a way, that makes me even more psychotic. I convinced myself that I played by the rules. These are the rules of the game, and I am using them to gain wealth. I have no idea what you can read into all this. I just find it really intriguing as well that 2 YouTubers that are, you know, considered nice people.
Right.
Both were horrible, horrible human beings in this game called Tibia. Don't think badly of me. I'm gonna go now, bye!